Welcome to the 9642 podcast. This is your host, Mr. Number 9.
And this is The Fool.
This is where me and The Fool give our
Unqualified and unrequested
ramblings on the various issues in the world of sport.
or something like that.
Hello, everybody. As we are back to the World Cup, our original bread and butter.
Yeah. Been lots of fun.
Absolutely. And it's so far basically through with the first round of the group stage, and we've played a bunch of games at the first day of the second round of the group stage.
Yeah, about half the groups, I think, have got through their second games in group and pool.
Yeah. And for reference points, this is Sunday the 27th. We're recording this.
Yep.
New Zealand time. So the tournament started with a bang with Qatar. Like you and I commented, very, very smooth looking Ecuador team. Smooth.
Oh, smooth.
Style and smooth in football style too.
Yeah. That was actually a really good game. From just
very
amazing how good.
Oh, well played.
Just, as you said, smooth. That was the best word for it in all aspects.
Yep. And a couple of hours later, they were followed by England absolutely thrashing Iran.
Yeah. Watched that too.
Huge
Amazing.
highlight of that game with the Iranian players not singing the national anthem. Apparently already getting several death threats. And I think, well, given the results that came later, spoiler warning, this earlier today, we can say that Iranian team were a bit probably preoccupied, and that was a horrific injury to their goalkeeper. Who then, for whatever reason, decided to stay on when he was very clearly concussed, and then subbed himself off.
The medical team should have taken him off. Like, I was watching that with my son on replay, and we saw that, and we was like, he needs to come off. Like, there shouldn't even be a question put to him.
I think we need to be very clear. I think there are times where I've watched this World Cup where a player's very obviously concussed and the referees are not doing anything. Like, let's be clear. The referee's first job is not enforcing the rules. Their first and most important responsibility is player safety.
Yeah.
Like, they have to immediately call a medical team and be like, look, concussion test, get him off the field, and this is why injury time exists.
Yeah, exactly.
And I understand that referees are mindful of time and all that. Maybe there needs to be a rule about if the referee is calling a stop in play because there's a medical, there should be a stop in the clock. Because it's a medical, especially for a concussion check, because that is a protocol, that's a health and safety issue.
Yeah. I mean, they have been playing just about all and a little bit more of the actual stoppages. So, they've like that Iranian one as well. There was 14 extra minutes, was it? Yeah, 14 extra minutes of that first half, which is about how long that stoppage took. My thought is that they need to do like rugby, in that if there's potential concussion, you're allowed to sub the player and it doesn't count as your substitution. And if the player subsequently passes the concussion tests, the IA protocols, then they're allowed to come back on and you just swap them back out. And it's like, they were just off for a bit to make sure that everything's okay. They were, then bring them back on. I mean, goalkeepers, that's a little bit harder because that's a sort of a position that you don't want to be cold in.
But also a prime position to get a concussion.
Yeah. So I think you just got to allow those substitutions to happen. Just like get the players had a head knock, get them off the field, get them into the tunnel, get them checked out. Reserve goalkeeper can go on, and if it turns out the keeper is actually fine and can continue in the medical stuff, like, yep, he's sweet, then you just swap back in, and that's fine. And everybody's just like, yep, that happened for a bit. We played on, we're all okay. He was fine. And if he's not, then it has to be the doctor's responsibility to be like, no, he's failed these protocols, he's not going back on. No matter what he thinks, doesn't matter. Yeah. There's no continuing here.
Yeah, absolutely. That's absolutely what doctors should do. And like, as I said, I think it is the referee's response. That's their first responsibility.
Yeah.
It's not like me saying something and saying that this is my opinion. That is actually their first responsibility.
Oh no, 100% it is. Yeah.
So it needs to be better. Um,
Mm.
Then we also had in Group A the second Group A game that opening day when Senegal played the Netherlands.
Yeah.
Um, Another great game. That game
Oh,
was
that was great.
basically chess on grass. Like I was just saying, like it's basically both
Yeah.
sides building up this pawn wall, deciding where their knights are going, setting. And it was one of those games where I could tell as soon as one team scored a goal, the equivalent of the first pawn exchange happening, everything would become chaos.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the end game would come in and everything would just get destroyed.
Yeah.
And like the Netherlands basically played their mid and end game better, if using that chess analogy, and like yeah, came
Well, I
through with
think, yeah, given where it was near the end of the game. Yeah, if you're using the chess analogy, the goal went in, and then the Netherlands just traded everything down. They
yeah,
got the advantage, they traded everything down, and then used that to win the end game. And
absolutely.
that's classic meta in chess right now. Is yeah, the beginning's tense and tight until you get your material advantage, even if it's one pawn, whatever it is, especially if it's a piece. Then your job is to trade everything down. So once you're up a piece, you just trade and trade everything else because you'll be up something at the end of that,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
that's what you win on. And
absolutely.
yeah, it was 100% what Netherlands did.
And I didn't catch most of the USA Wales game. I only kind of caught the end, which is when Wales equalized. But
Yeah,
that game feels like a game where the USA should have done the same chess game, taken that pawn advantage, and then this is where you do a misplay
yeah,
in the middle of your mid game, and you let the other player come back in, and it's you have a and they even it out, and you have to ask for a draw.
yeah. That was pretty
Both
much
sides
it.
low on clock.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but the USA did not impress me in their game against Wales. I thought Wales played really well.
Mm.
Um,
I also didn't
spoil.
get to watch a lot of it because Sky. I was watching them on demand on replays, and Sky decided that they weren't going to put the Wales USA replay up at any useful time. So I
Yeah,
ended up watching just the highlights as well, which was kind
yeah,
of annoying.
yeah, absolutely. Now, moving on from that game, we had one of the highlights of the tournament so far. Argentina
Depend.
1, Saudi Arabia 2.
As it say,
What an
highlights may depend
incredible
on
game!
your
But
point of view, but yes.
But like, what a great football game that was. Just
Oh,
watching Saudi, like you and I talked about ideal teams and materialist teams in the
yeah,
previous podcast and how they work. So the moment a team comes out unironically with a 4-4-2, you're like, this is a materialistic team. They
yeah,
know they're building on the game state. They only care about what's happening in the. They don't have. They've got the bare minimum ideals because obviously they still have a formation, but that's about it. Like a proper old school 4-4-2. Like it
yeah,
brought joy to my heart. Like Argentina played the game well, but it felt like Saudi Arabia had most. Did a really good offside trap, kept the
yeah,
game working well, and um, they managed to they conceded that penalty, and obviously Lionel Messi scored that goal, but they never felt out of it to me. Like they were using a mid block rather than a low block, which is the classic 4-4-2,
yeah,
and with the overlapping fullbacks it was
yeah.
and I don't think Argentina had a counter to that in the second half. Like that mid block just became more and more, and they started getting more and more position and possession,
Yeah. So
and
yes,
just were able to counter like any attacking threat from Argentina very easily.
especially in the second half. The first half, it looked like Argentina should, they just got their timings wrong on the runs with the high line,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
hadn't quite got it. And Saudi Arabia just didn't look like it. Things just they hadn't quite got it clicked right. But yes,
yeah,
obviously whatever was said at halftime, Saudi Arabia worked, and whatever was said to Argentina did not work. It came
yeah.
out, yeah,
Despite that first half, like Argentina dominated a lot of the attack and the shots and
yeah.
possession. That Saudi never looked panicked to me in that game. They looked chill and like they knew what they were doing, and they
Yeah.
um,
I sort of felt the first half they were still a little bit like they had their idea and it was working, but it seemed very edgy. Like everything was sort of okay, but there was a little bit of just tenseness, a little bit of. But yeah, say once they got out in the second half, all that seemed to have melted away, and maybe it was just the occasion. You're playing against
Yeah.
Argentina. It's the first half, and everybody's just a bit on edge about it. There's Messi there, like, oh, this is the thing. It's the time, and then they've got through the first half. They were one down. Everything was a bit thing, and maybe it was just like, hey, we're one down. It's Argentina. Nobody's expecting us to win. Go out there and play. So the next half of football's the half that we get to show who we are, and
Yeah.
they did bring it. I did like the stats. They had 3 shots, all on target. 2 of them were goals, and the other one was a deflected was a shot that was blocked that went and led to the second goal.
Yeah,
So, yeah. It's the stats of the game are just crazy.
Yeah, I agree. And but it's an incredible moment, like the historic result. There was a really interesting podcasts about this game. Refer you to Tifo and the Athletic like I did before. There's some great videos for Tunes and the like. But really, one of the best podcasts I heard is from the Athletic, where one of the reporters, name I forget, actually went and traveled with the Saudi fans.
Oh really? I didn't see that one.
To like immerse himself in Arab football culture. So what the Saudis did, like, okay, just a bit of geopolitical history. Saudi Arabia and Qatar have had a bit of a tiff, shall we say? A bit of a neighborhood squabble, like people unhappy about the shared fence issue, like complaints to the police about noise, all this standard neighbors stuff,
Yeah.
Occasionally stopping you from going out to buy groceries. So Saudi Arabia and Qatar kind of mended their fences and decided to at least temporarily bury the hatchet. And what the Saudi Arabian government and authorities said is like, look, we have a shared border with Qatar. They've set up a very efficient passport control at the border. Just treat the border as a giant park and ride. Just go there, and there will be shuttle buses on the other side that'll take you to the games.
All right, yeah.
So that's a very sensible system, and but this reporter was traveling from Doha to the border, and there's no system to get onto that bus from inside Qatar. You have to get on from the border side, so he couldn't figure out how to get there. Like the border people were kind of like, we'll have to get you into Saudi Arabia, and then you'll have to come back in. And he's like, I don't have a visa to go to Saudi Arabia. Like, yeah, I recommend you don't go to Saudi Arabia then if you want to come back into Qatar. And so there was a bunch of things that he couldn't figure out what to do. He's like, okay, so do you have a car, sir? Because he's in the middle of the desert, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, not really. I just let my Uber go. And they were like, okay, you wait here. There'll be another bus that takes us home. You can come with us. And apparently some police officers took pity on him, and they were like, okay, we'll give you permission. We'll take you aside and get you onto one of those buses. And then he talked to groups of fans until one busload of fans were like, yep, we'll come with us. It'll be fine. It'll be chill. You'll enjoy it. And he got on, and it was interesting. He was saying there were obviously the attitude going into the game was ecstatic. They were so excited to go and watch Argentina. Everybody was excited to watch Messi.
Yeah.
So a lot of Saudi Arabia fans were just like, look, it's a win-win for us. If we win, we win. If we don't win, Messi wins. That's really good. So they were pumped either way. And just to point out, the Lionel Messi is a ambassador for tourism Saudi Arabia. So he is. It's more than just he's a popular football player. He's very popular in Saudi Arabia.
Very popular, yes.
And the fans were absolutely, they were that fan energy, football is a vibes game. That's what you can tell. That's a vibes game. It was the supporters who basically were being the 12th man, all those cliches about bringing the energy from the crowd to the game.
Oh no, that totally happened, yes. Without the crowd there, that game would have not ended the way it did.
Yeah. And because of the results of the rest from that, Mexico and Poland drew 0-0. That for a while Saudi Arabia was top of Group C until today. Spoilers.
Spoilers.
Spoilers incoming after. But now Denmark also played Tunisia. The game was 0-0. It's a pretty standard, tired game, very cagey. This is the sort of thing we see World Cups throw up all the time.
Mm-hmm.
France did the absolute business to Australia. Like, Australia were woeful in that game. Like,
Yeah.
genuinely awful. Like, they were lucky to get that early goal, like, against the run of play and, like, catching the French unaware. But just after that point, the French were just like, nah, we are, what curse?
Yeah.
And, they've officially ended the curse. Spoilers, once again. Excuse me. So, Morocco drew with Croatia. Great performance from Morocco, I thought. That game was quite even and cagey. Just neither side able to break each other down.
Yeah.
They basically expected both are very strong defensive teams. Morocco's fullbacks pressured Croatia, but I thought they were unlucky to not get a goal rather in that game. But especially because Croatia has a lot of younger, talented players they're not picking in their starting 11.
Yeah, yeah.
So this might come back to bite Croatia.
Possibly.
Because it's a
I
tough
see.
group they're in.
Yeah, it is a tough group. I see it was the first time they've failed to score in 12 World Cup matches.
Yeah.
And there's only one other that they've not scored. It was just a goalless draw in 2006 against Japan.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, that shows exactly how cagey that was and how good Morocco was.
So from the 23rd of November, where we had like 3-0 all draws and like an incredible performance from France, we went to arguably the most entertaining day of the World Cup so far. Germany-Japan.
Oh, yeah.
What a game. What a result.
What a game.
How good did Japan's kits look on TV? Like, we knew they were gonna look good, but it's so good to be right about it. Like,
it was so good. And then those kits obviously helped.
Yeah, absolutely helped. And like, as soon as Muller got subbed off, the Japanese bring on 3 players. And yeah, the last half hour of the game, they dominated and
They did.
deservedly took the 3 points.
Yeah.
There's a lot of German football bloggers I follow who were basically like, look, this is a team of average Bundesliga players. Like, a couple of them are playing for relegation-threatened teams and can't even start for those teams.
Yeah.
So, they know how Germany plays, but Germany basically stopped playing football in the last half hour, and this is what happened.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, Hansi Flick is a good manager. He was really good in qualifying. But, yeah, there are some questionable decisions I think he's made. Like, just, come on, man. Like, Kai Havertz is not a striker. I just want to say it, okay?
Yeah.
Like, somebody just needs to tell him that.
I know, I did see that and was like, ooh, okay then, I guess. That's an idea.
Sometimes Germany just tries to be too clever. I don't understand. Yeah. Like, you have a perfectly fine player who can play as a striker, like Thomas Muller. Like, there were people who were going on about, oh, maybe we should bring on Mario Götze again as a striker. Like, at this point, why not just ask Miroslav Klose if he's available? Like, what's going on, Germany? Moving on from Germany, though, Spain. Woof.
Ooh, yeah.
King of the ideal football team playing the ideal football game. They just did not let. Let's put it out first. Keylor Navas had a shocker. A very rare, extremely bad game from Keylor. But basically, Spain took advantage and they got the goals. Like Marco Asensio playing as a striker. Look at that, a striker playing as a striker. Germany notes.
She wanted, get out that notepad, Germany, and just striker plays as a striker. Interesting.
Yeah, so many good players in the Spain team, like all knowing what they have to do and what they, and getting the system right. It's just, Spain are a joy to watch. And and that red kit they're wearing with the yellow stripes, looked gorgeous on TV.
Yeah.
Like, incredible performance. Like, I think rightfully they're joint favorites with Brazil. If only, I feel Brazil are slightly ahead, but I'll explain later because we'll get to that game soon enough.
Yeah.
Moving on from that game, Belgium to Canada. Belgium were lucky to get away with 3 points in that game. I think Canada deserved the deserved at least a point. I think Canada outplayed Belgium all game. The XG heavily favored Canada. They had speed up front.
Yeah.
Canada are a dangerous team. Group F at the moment, because it's a very close group. I think Croatia, Morocco getting a draw. Canada can beat both teams. They should not be afraid of Morocco or Croatia.
Yeah.
But that group could be complicated. Belgium is also beatable. I think they've shown they're not that golden generation are aging.
They are, yes.
Especially their center backs, who are basically, I think, a combined age of about roughly 400 years old or something like that at this point. Vertonghen and Toby Aberwald, like, those players, they're so old. I'm just like, that's a blast from the past name, almost. But in the end of the day, they got the points and they won, so you can't complain about that. Well done, Belgium, and Switzerland as well. Put in the work, got it done. Switzerland's super effective team in World Cups. They just tend to make second rounds very often.
Yeah.
They play a very effective style of football. They've got a classic 4-3-3 format. And in that group they're in, I think they're poised to get into the group stage because I think they're better than, they've already beaten Cameroon and they're better than Serbia, I believe, based on what I've seen of Serbia so far. And I think they can give Brazil a run for their money. Especially...
Yeah.
I don't think Brazil will lose to them, but that could easily end up a draw. Moving on from that, we had South Korea, Uruguay, 0-0, standard KG game. It's a classic Tabarez special.
Yeah.
But I think both teams will be happy to start off not losing.
Yeah. I think so.
That Group H is quite open. With Ghana losing, I think it could South Korea, Uruguay could both. Yeah, they're both in a position where they can qualify from here.
Well, technically, even Ghana can still qualify.
Just
need to start winning things.
But they're a point ahead of
Yeah.
Ghana, so they're a bit more favored. Portugal, obviously, on 3 points.
Yeah. That is definitely a good way to go in that group, is to get some 3 points.
Yeah. Getting the 3 points, and I think deserving those 3 points. Though Ghana came very close to equalizing in the last minute from a mistake. This was a classic chess on grass game. Like literally the pawn walls, and the moment Cristiano Ronaldo broke the deadlock, Portugal scores a second, pushes ahead their advantage, and then makes a mistake, and Ghana come back. Like, it's what you see in chess games, when you're playing, like it went from a chess game to a speed chess game, in the spur of a few minutes. But it was highly entertaining. My favorite match of the tournament so far. Loved watching it. I just couldn't keep away from the screen. Something was just always happening. Something interesting was just always happening.
Yeah.
But okay, and then we had Brazil against Serbia.
Yeah.
And Brazil announced themselves.
Definitely.
They didn't let I think Serbia had 0 shots on goal.
Yeah. No shots on target at all. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
This is why I rate Brazil, because they beat a team that was favored before the tournament. Serbia was a team we were expecting things from. Their players were informed. They carried a few injuries, unfortunately for them. But we expected this to be Brazil's hardest game, technically.
Yes.
Now it looks like it might be Switzerland.
That's
their toughest game. But, Brazil dealt with it. There was no issues for them.
No.
Sure. It's a bit of a pity, Neymar getting injured. I feel bad for him because he gets injured at World Cups for whatever reason.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Luckily he's at the group stage and he's only going to miss the next 2 games. And Antonio replacing him. Yeah, Antonio did the business too when he was asked to come on. That Brazilian attack is so deep.
It's so good,
many weaknesses in that team. they deservedly took the points. And then, well, Iran came back with revenge. And that game was cagey, and it looked like it was going to head for a draw. And then Hennessy gets a red card, and then Iran capitalized with two injury time goals. And
Yeah.
now I'm sitting here thinking, well, Iran, despite the bad start, now they just need to win against the USA, and they're through.
I think it's even just a draw, isn't it? Well,
If they
a
get
win,
a
a
draw,
win
technically,
guarantees it. Yeah.
if they get a draw, technically Wales, if they beat England, can get ahead of them.
Yeah, but they got to beat England by. Oh no, they just have to draw. They just have to beat. Wales just have to beat England.
Wales
But
just
if
have to beat England if
yeah,
they.
but if USA, if Iran wins, then Wales have to win by 4 goals, right? Yes.
So my ideal situation would be if Iran beats the USA by 2 goals, and Wales beats England by 4 goals, so that both of those teams get through to the next round. Because that would be funny.
That it would be funny, for a lot of reasons, and I want to subscribe to this timeline that you have proposed. I
Yeah.
want to live in that world, so let's hope it happens.
Because following on from that performance from Wales and Iran, like I think like a very cagey performance. We had Senegal knocking the hosts out of the tournament, first team to be knocked out. 3-1, did the business quietly. We all knew Senegal were a team.
Yes.
So I think between them and Ecuador, that's going to be a very vital game. I think the Netherlands drawing with Ecuador have left this group very open. It's going to be a tense game, but you'd expect the Netherlands to beat Qatar.
I do as well.
That being said, the Netherlands, they can choke.
Yeah, exactly.
So you can't take anything for granted for that team. And just as we predicted, England draw USA.
Yeah.
A game.
A dour little draw where USA actually looked better.
Yeah, the USA did look better. England, like, they're such a hot and cold team. Like, I fully expect them to lose to Wales. I fully expect them to lose to Wales. And
I sort of expect a draw there. Just, it might not help Wales at all, or anybody, but just on the grounds that England will just look crap and not get anything. But their defence might just hold up enough. But then again, maybe Wales thinks that last minute winner and just like ruins the party and it's funny. I don't see Wales winning the 4-0, unfortunately. So.
Well, all they need to do is win like 2-0, and then it's all based on goal difference. In which case, the Wales would be kicked out because of fair play.
No, there'd have to be 3. 2-0 wouldn't be enough. It'd be 3. 2-0 would
2-0, then all of them would have a goal difference of 0 and exactly the same number of goals.
No, England's goal difference is 4. Well, everybody else would be 0, yes.
Yeah.
England is 4, so England. I was in the trying to keep to the timeline where England doesn't go through.
Yeah, so 3-0 at least for Wales is what we need. Yeah.
I think they don't go through because of fair play then as well. So it'd be equal with England. So they need the 4 to be ahead of England.
Yeah, they need exactly 4 to be ahead of England.
Yeah.
Now, the next game we played, Australia redeemed themselves absolutely well. That was a great performance from them. Like, they just lost their mind with France after scoring that first goal. And they looked good. After scoring that first goal, they did something. They decided to become more defensive or something. And then, like, France just punished them.
Yeah.
But Tunisia got, like, whatever else. Like, Australia are not going to be the worst team in the World Cup because of this performance. Very, very good performance, I thought. And now they've opened their opportunities in that group because they're ahead of Denmark because the French beat Denmark, and the Australia just need to get a draw against Denmark to get through to the next round.
Yeah, exactly.
Denmark needs to beat them to get through. mind you, there is an off chance that if Denmark beats Australia, Tunisia could get through by beating France.
Yes, exactly.
This group is still very, very open, and the French players, the France tops this group already. Without, doesn't matter what the other results are.
No, they can. Australia can top. They win and France loses to Tunisia, and Australia wins, but they've got to win by a lot of goals. Well, either France has got to lose by a lot to Tunisia, or Australia's got to win by a lot to Denmark. So there's like 6 goals difference.
Probably, but France are probably going to rest players. It's not a necessary win for them.
No. As I say, it needs to be a lot of there's 6 goals between Australia and France currently. So as I say, the total goal difference between those 2 matches, if France loses and Australia wins, needs to be greater than 6. So
yeah.
Very
unlikely.
Very unlikely.
So they could very easily give a lot of their squad players minutes still win because France are good. Like I'm not saying resting starters means France is not gonna not gonna do well in this tournament. Definitely, those bench players are incredible.
Yeah, exactly.
France.
So yeah, I'd expect France to win no matter what team they put out based on their squad. But...
So, Argentina beat Mexico.
Yeah, watch that. That was good.
Watch that as well. Great performance from Argentina. Mexico basically tried to punch them and mug a win, but it was that Argentina just dealt with everything. Other than one really good save from the Argentinian keeper from a free kick out of Mexico, I don't think Mexico troubled Argentina at all. Argentina's defense kind of handled it. It was really interesting because I was watching this with Nick, who told me because the few times he's watched Messi play he play live, and he's watched them play for Argentina. Apparently, Messi, when the team don't have the ball, he kind of just walks around, doesn't jog, Obviously, we know he doesn't press because he's Messi. But it's the thing is the moment and even if the team gain possession, if they're just passing along the back, he's like, all right, whatever, I'm just chilling, not even jogging, he's just walking along, and the moment that looks like they're gonna start a move, that's when he live wire, jumps and stuff, and I was just yeah, but he's Messi, because so at the end of the day, he's the alligator in the bathroom. The defenders can't ignore him because while he's there, you can't use the bathroom.
Exactly.
You can't play through the. Do you dare play a pass through the center if he's in the middle because it's Messi? What if he catches the loose ball?
And this was on the Tifo podcast the other day after the Saudi Arabia game, where they were talking about it. And that is his thing, and the Argentine team is built around that as well, on the grounds that Messi will float in the centre there somewhere, and he'll be where Messi is, and he'll do some Messi stuff. But he's not going to run, and he may just stand offside. Argentina might have the ball, they'll pass it around. He may just be standing offside, and just stand there and wait.
Half the time I was watching the defense just pass the ball along, and I was like, are they just waiting for him to walk on side, and then they're going to start their attacking move? And a lot of the times it looked like that. It was just like, okay. It's
he just sits there and just waits. As you say, he's the alligator in the bathroom. He'll just sit there and just be like, I'm here. What are you going to do? And he will come back to get the ball, and he'll get involved if he needs to. But if he feels he doesn't need to, if he's like, the rest of the team's got this, he will just float into a position, and he will get himself not where he needs to be. He will let the team go, you guys are fine, you attack there, I'm going to walk over here, so that when you get through this attack, I'm suddenly here. I'm in the right place at the right time. He allows the football game to flow around him, and he's moved to the next phase. He's 2-3 phases ahead of the rest of the game. And suddenly, and that's what Tifo was pointing out, the game will flow, and then suddenly the ball pops free, and it happens to be exactly where he's just stood there the whole time, and it pops to him. He's like, "Hey, I'm right here," and he shoots a goal. That's what he does.
And the whole alligator in the bathroom thing, it's there. It was evident because when Mexico had the ball, they would have at least 2 or 3 players around him, Those
Yeah.
players are not going behind looking to get into the channels, getting into a position to like, oh, just in case we lose the ball, we're good in transition to press. They're like, we have to mark Messi.
Yeah.
So, it works.
Yeah.
Like, arguably it's
And
more effective than him pressing.
yeah, exactly. Though in the Mexico game, I saw he was getting back and getting more involved. So in the Saudi game, he was very much more just wandering, walking wherever he felt like it, without really much like allowing the game to flow around him. Be like the rest of the team's got this. But the Mexico game, there was moments where he was just wandering and walking in places,
Yeah.
and then there was others where he switched to the other Messi, which was okay. I need to be involved, and he came back and he was receiving the ball well deep in his own half, passing it,
Yeah.
and then running it and passing again and receiving and doing all that. So I look at it and go, he reads the game very well, and
Yes.
it does feel a little bit he tries to get himself in the position he thinks he needs to be in, and the Saudi Arabia game sort of the Saudis just out-hearted him basically.
Yes.
They threw so much more at the game that
Yeah.
they were able to nullify the alligator just by going,
I think
we'll stick
Saudi
our
Arabia.
arm
Yeah.
in there and we'll just have faith in ourselves that we can pull it out quick enough. And they did.
Also, we forgot to mention another GOAT level player, Robert Lewandowski, breaks his World Cup duck.
Oh yes, he did too, yes.
He was the player who had the most number of games without a World Cup goal as a striker. Sorry, not one of them, but he notably played a lot of World Cup games without scoring, and he's finally broken it. So congratulations to Lewa. Well done.
Good work.
You'll always be 2020's Ballon d'Or winner to me.
Yes, 100%.
So Poland played very well against Saudi Arabia, and I think both games kind of show both the downs and ups of 4-4-2, because 4-4-2 is the ultimate flex formation, right? Because you can change around stuff according to the game state when you want, or it can be the ultimate rigid formation. Everybody has to stay in that formation, where they are.
Yeah.
And I think it just played badly for them, unfortunately. But Saudi Arabia is still in with a chance to qualify from this group. This group is now on. It is everything is on in this group now.
Oh yes, 100%.
Poland obviously top of the group. If Argentina comes second, they go on the opposite side of the draw to Brazil, which conspiracy theorists are saying is why they lost to Saudi Arabia. Not me. Conspiracy theorists were not me. Saudi Arabia got a game against Mexico. Saudi Arabia can beat Mexico. They've shown ability to do that, like in their game. Argentina have a game against Poland. I expect that to be a competitive game. If Argentina and Poland draw, and I think if Saudi Arabia gets a win, they're obviously through. Saudi Arabia do have the goal difference disadvantage.
Yeah.
To Argentina, but they have, so they do need to score goals. If they win and Argentina win, they're both through. Both Argentina and Saudi Arabia, they'll be top of the group. A draw is not enough for Saudi Arabia either way, because Poland, Argentina, both sides are going to get a draw, so they need to win. And then
a draw is good enough for Saudi Arabia if Poland wins. That's the only.
Yeah, that's right. That's the only time it's okay for them.
Yeah.
If Poland wins. If
Poland wins, yeah.
Yeah.
If Saudi Arabia will come second, they won't. Yeah.
Then they can get through. You're absolutely right. But if Saudi Arabia win, they're through. Like, there's no mathematical way they're not through if they win.
No. Yeah, exactly.
So
Mexico need to win to potentially get through as well. So I think that matters. They've got even worse goal difference at -2. So.
They have to absolutely thrash Saudi Arabia and then hope draw between Poland.
We'd probably hope for. It would be beat Saudi Arabia, and hope either for an Argentine win, or beat Saudi Arabia by enough to overtake Poland.
Poland,
lose. So they need to thrash Saudi Arabia and hope Argentina win. basically. Or
Yeah,
Poland wins.
or if Poland wins and they thrash, or then they
They
and
just
they
have to
win
beat.
against Saudi Arabia,
Yeah.
that they're through.
Yeah.
But either way, they're dependent on other results. Saudi
Yeah.
technically, if they win, they're through regardless.
Yeah.
They do
Saudi
have
just
their
needs to
fate
win.
yeah. And Argentina and Poland technically have their fate in their hand. If they
Yeah.
win, they're through.
It's
I think if
almost a
Poland
virtual
draw,
draw.
they're almost they're it's if Poland can get a draw, they're through.
Yes.
If I'm not
Poland
wrong.
just need 1 point for it.
Yeah.
So a draw puts them through because they're on 5. Nobody else can get past them.
Yeah.
Well, only Saudi can get past them into first, but that make Poland second.
And obviously, if Argentina win, they're guaranteed to go through. If they draw, they're dependent on the other result.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a very, very interesting group to see how those last set of games play out. Now moving on to the rest of the second round games, we've got Japan playing Costa Rica. I fully expect Japan to thrash Costa Rica as well.
Yeah.
And that would guarantee them a spot in the next round.
We're pretty close to.
Because if Spain and Germany, it would need Germany to beat Spain for them not to guarantee it, right? Because then Spain might beat Costa Rica, and it becomes there's 3 teams on 6 points, and who?
Yeah.
Like that's
so,
gonna happen.
Yeah, you're right. They need Germany to beat Spain. Yeah, the only way they're not by beating Costa Rica, they go to 6. So yeah, Germany beating Spain would put 2 more on 3, and then Japan would have to lose to Spain, and Germany beat Costa Rica, and then there'd be all 3 teams on 6, and it'll come down to goal differential.
Yeah. And then we've got Belgium versus Morocco. Once again, I think Morocco they have pace on their fullbacks, and they have a bit of pace up front. I think they can trouble Belgium. Like, I don't know how well that defense can hold up. Like, their attack is great, absolutely great, but that defense is wobbly, and I think Canada's exposed a lot of their weaknesses. But Belgium are classy. They do have good players, so this could be an attacking game, even. Could be a lot of goals.
The only thing about this would be
I expect
that
Belgium to win, though. By the way, just putting that in.
And the win pretty much guarantees Belgium top spot.
Yeah.
In fact, I think it does.
It does, because Croatia-Morocco drew. Because it doesn't matter what happens in that Croatia-Canada game. I think Canada's going to win that game. I think there is an aging team element in Croatia. Like I said, a lot of their younger players, and I think Canada have pace.
Yeah.
They were, like I said, genuinely statistically unlucky to lose to Belgium. So I think they beat Croatia.
Then we've got Spain, Germany.
You're picking Canada?
For Croatia, Canada?
The Battle of the Seas?
The Battle of the Seas. No, I think the aging experience of Croatia will still just manage it somehow, where it matters. And it'll be wily, it'll be deceptive, but Croatia will get there somehow.
Alright.
I also agree that Belgium will beat Morocco.
Yep.
That's just going to happen.
Alright. Group E, Spain?
Yeah, Spain. Spain's going to win, Germany's out. See you bye, Germany. Spain's too good.
I agree. Spain's too good. I agree.
I know
Cameroon,
this
Serbia?
is... Oh, Cameroon's... Ooh.
Draw? I feel like this has got draw written all over it.
It does have a little bit of draw written over it. I want to say Cameroon, but yeah, I think draw is probably... I see Serbia has been given the bookies push. But yeah, I sort of feel draw.
Yeah. And then we have South Korea versus Ghana. I feel like a draw here as well.
I'm hoping for South Korea here. I feel like they've given
Ghana
themselves
played well against Portugal, to be fair.
Ghana did, but this is the game South Korea have to win if they want to progress. Give themselves the best chance. Because they got Portugal last, so they've got to get these points in this Ghana game.
There is a good chance all the rest of the Group H games end in a draw.
Oh, there's a super good chance of that happening. Because those teams, as we said before the tournament, those teams are all super good. It's super even. So
All right.
Portugal did very well to get their 3 points in the bag.
So Group G, Brazil, Switzerland. What are we predicting?
Ooh, that is going to be tough. I still think it's going to be Brazil, but it's going to be very tough.
I think Brazil are going to guarantee qualification, but I think this will be a close game. I think 2-1.
Yeah, 2-1 seems about right to me.
Portugal, Uruguay.
Ooh, once again, the Group H games are just.
This game I think once again, if it plays out like the way Portugal played against Ghana, this could end up being a draw. But I think Portugal are just gonna edge it out. I think once again, another 3-2 for Portugal.
You think? Yeah, that seems likely. I do agree that Portugal's likely to edge it out.
Suarez will get a goal in this game, I think.
Yeah, fair enough.
So yeah, well, that's our predictions for the so far second round of the group stage. We'll look to do another follow-up after all the group stages are done. The end of at the beginning of next week, rather.
Yeah.
And hopefully, we'll be able to give a preview of the round of 16. There's a bunch of great games to come.
Yeah.
Now, just because we're gonna review the third round, but there are some incredibly juicy looking games to come for the last round of games. We've got obviously USA, Iran.
Yeah.
Traditional rivals, Wales, England. Enough said.
Yeah. Enough said.
Rivals. That's Saudi Arabia, Mexico, because Group C has still got everything up for grabs. 8 a.m. I'm going to be flicking between Argentina, Mexico. I think that's going to be incredibly riveting to watch. And that Australia-Denmark game is effectively a qualification for the next round, almost.
Effectively, yes, almost. So there's a few scenarios where it is okay to lose, I think. But, yeah, effectively the winner is the one that goes through along with
France. We've got a bunch of other games. I think the Ghana Uruguay game's obviously going to be intense because like, let's be very clear here. Like, I don't condone Luis Suarez biting people.
No.
But blocking that goal with his hand was a completely okay thing to do to get his team to win. He didn't pretend he didn't do it. He didn't like act as though he didn't deserve a red card. He blocked it with his hand and then went, all right, I took the red.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and it ended up working. So, I don't think anyone should blame him for that. That was and he didn't injure another player. Like, a lot of professional fouls are super cynical. Like, they're literally trying to take a player out.
Yeah.
If you're gonna commit a professional foul like that, that's not injuring another player.
No.
It's a definite red card, and he, took it in the chin, and Uruguay took advantage and won.
Yeah. Exactly. He's saying, like, he did something horribly illegal, but he didn't argue about it. He didn't say, I didn't do it. He just, like,
This is not a hand of God, situation. He was like, oh yeah, I'm breaking the rules here, send me off. But, I'm preventing my team from losing by doing this.
By doing this. I'm giving, making it a second chance.
Yeah.
Because if he doesn't do it, it goes in the goal. If he does do it, they have to take a penalty, might score, but hey, there's a chance.
Absolutely. Now, just before we finish off, who did you like so far? Obviously, whose performances in the tournament so far? We've only seen a couple of games for all our for some of the players, but who's your player of the tournament so far?
That's a little bit hard. I'd actually probably go. Might actually go Valencia from Ecuador.
Valencia, I'm very inclined to agree with you. Ener Valencia has been an absolute gun for Ecuador.
Yeah.
Cody Gapco, very good. I have noticed too. Obviously, Lionel Messi
Yeah.
is doing Lionel Messi things.
Mm-hmm.
Richarlison's doing Richarlison things.
Yeah, yeah.
But Enner Valencia, it's very hard to look beyond him at the moment. He's been like the heart and soul of that Ecuador team.
Exactly. If they make it through, it's on his back. He's the one that is. Yeah, we've talked about talisman players before.
Yeah.
I feel like he is the talisman for Ecuador at the moment, and whatever's going to happen is going to happen because of him.
Yeah, absolutely. That being said, Kylian Mbappe has had a great tournament so far as well. Like,
yes.
If you're asking me who I think will end up being player of the tournament, maybe Kylian Mbappe, maybe him, but
maybe
you know,
yes.
But if Ecuador make it to the semis or something like that, definitely we'll be talking about Enner Valencia as a player of the tournament type player.
Yeah.
If Kylian Mbappe leads France to another World Cup, yeah, he's winning Ballon d'Or next year. Like, let's just write it down and done.
It's done, yes.
But yeah, other than that, what's tournament thinking so far? You enjoying it? Enjoying the timings? I'm quite enjoying the timings.
The timings? So
Like
I like the 8 o'clock games. 5 o'clock games.
8 o'clock games are very watchable for me because I'm already up by 5 on most working days.
No, those are very watchable. If I can get some replays in.
The 11 o'clocks are watchable.
Oh, the 11 o'clock last week with the Argentine-Saudi Arabia game, that killed me. Oh dear. Bad enough that the game was the way it went. But the 1:30 sleep did not, or 2 o'clock in the morning sleep did not work well for me. So it seemed like a good idea. It's like 11 o'clock is not that late. By the time it finishes,
1 o'clock by the time it finishes. It's deceptively late.
Yeah. But no, the times are say that 5 o'clock game is watchable. 8 o'clock game definitely is watchable. Those are pretty good.
The group stage we've got 4 and 8. They're very doable, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even if you kind of don't wake up at 4 and I kept waking up at 5, I could still catch a decent chunk of the end of games.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely looking forward to, definitely enjoying the times. Yeah, but I think on that note, that's all we have time for today.
Yeah.
And yeah, we look forward to hearing from you all. Thanks so much for listening, and yeah, see you all next time.
Catch you next time.
Well, that is the end. Thanks for listening all the way through.
If you liked what you heard, for even more, NineSixFourTwo Discord and a Buy Me a Coffee.
Pretty sure it's Buy Me a Beer.
Oh yeah, buy me a beer on buymeacoffee.com.
In both these places, you can talk to us, and we may even listen, especially if you do buy a said beer or coffee. I might still be confused.
Yes, we're easily bribed. All links are in the show notes below.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
This is on YouTube.